This video is going to look at placing mixed numbers on a number line. And so the first thing we can see, we'll focus on this number line first. We have the whole numbers 3, 4, and 5. So our mixed numbers are going to come between 3 and 4 and 4 and 5. So the first step is figuring out how many equal places or how many equal parts the number line is divided into between 3 and 4. So remember, I put my finger in the middle of the space and I count up. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this number line is divided into 8 equal parts between the two whole numbers. Same thing going from 4 to 5. It would be each of those lines on the number line is going to have a denominator of 8. Now, some mistakes kids make is they count the equal spaces between the beginning and the end of the number line. In that case, they'd say it was divided into 16ths, and that would kind of throw us off. So remember, when you're counting the equal spaces, you choose two whole numbers to count between to get the number of equal spaces the number line's divided into. So now we just start at 3 and we start counting up. So 3, this first line would be 3 and 1/8. The next line would be 3 and 2/8. The next line would be 3 and 3/8, 3 and 4/8, 3 and 5/8, 3 and 6/8, 3 and 7/8, 3 and 8/8, and we know that 8/8 is one whole, so 3 plus 1 whole would be 4, so we're on the right track. And we'd continue going on, but now we start at 4, 4 and 1/8, 4 and 2/8, 4 and 3/8, 4 and 4/8, 4 and 5/8, 4 and 6/8, 4 and 7/8, and 4 and 8/8 puts us at 5 because 8/8 is one whole plus the 4 would put us at 5. Now, after you've placed all of your mixed numbers on the number line, you can go back and you can simplify. Remember that if the numerator is 1, the fraction is in its simplest form. But if the numerator and denominator share a common factor, like 2 and 8 share the factor of 2, I can divide the numerator by 2 and the denominator by 2. So 3 and 2/8 in simplest form would be 3 and 1/4. 3 and 3/8 is in simplest form. 3 and 4/8 is not in simplest form because 4 and 8 share a common factor of 8. And remember, if you don't remember what a factor is, list them out. 1 times 4 equals 4, and 2 times 2 equals 4. So the factors of 4 are 1, 2, and 4. And you start with your greatest factor to see if it's a common factor with the denominator. And 4 is a factor of 8. So both the numerator and the denominator can be divided by 4, and you get 3 and 1/2. 3 and 5/8 is in simplest form. 3 and 6/8 would be 3 and 3/4 because they share a factor of 2. And 3 and 7/8 is in simplest form. So after you place all of the mixed numbers on the number line, then you can go back and simplify. And remember that you can tell if a fraction needs to be simplified if the numerator and the denominator share a factor. Then it can be simplified. Okay, the number line down here, if we look, it's a little bit different. It starts at 5 and it ends at 6. So we are going to count all the equal spaces between from the beginning to the end of this number line because the beginning is one whole number and the end is another whole number. So this number line is divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 equal parts. So my denominator for each of the lines is going to be 10. And then I start back at the beginning of the number line, and I start at 5. So this one would be 5 and 1/10, 5 and 2/10, 5 and 3/10, 5 and 4/10, 5 and 5/10, 5 and 6/10, 5 and 7/10, 5 and 8/10, 5 and 9/10, and 5 and 10/10, where we end up, is 6, because 10/10 is one whole, so 5 plus 1 whole puts me at 6. And then all I need to do is go back and simplify any of the fractions that need to be simplified on this number line.